Until dawn? More like until I stare at the sun for 12 hours straight and burn my retinas out so I don't have to watch this fucking movie ever again. The only fulfilling thing I got out of watching Until Dawn was the fact that my local AMC was selling these Darth Vader 20th anniversary popcorn buckets. And when you press this little button on the bottom, look what he says.
Until Dawn fucking sucks.
So if you can exclude all of what I just said, what did I think about Until Dawn overall? Well, let's get into the plot. And my apologies ahead of time, ladies and gentlemen, because I do not understand this game's lore, and I also have never played any of these games, so let's get started. So the movie centers around a group of characters that show up to this house out in the middle of nowhere to search for the main character's sister who's been missing. Ooh. But as soon as every single character enters the house, there is a magical hourglass that starts activating the house's abilities, I guess. And what the characters find out very quickly is that there are things sporadically set out throughout the entirety of this house that are there to unalive them, and they have to make it until dawn, otherwise they die. And during unfortunate circumstances, if a character was to be unalived, they would then respawn to the very beginning of where they started in the house, but unfortunately, their body would slowly start to wither away. Pretty much the whole purpose is for the characters to combine their knowledge and their wits together to try to figure out exactly what is going on and how to get out of this house before they get unalived and have to start all over again after being mangled to death. And that's essentially the plot. Now let's get into my overall thoughts of the movie, because wowee, was this movie not good. So first and foremost, I gotta say this movie has the most insufferable characters making the most insufferable decisions I've ever seen in a goddamn movie. The movie is just so oddly paced. It's just like, okay, on one hand, the characters are making really smart decisions and just figuring out shit way too easily. And on the other hand, they're just about as dumb as a box of fucking rocks. But ladies and gentlemen, here's the thing. Us horror fans don't come to these movies for all that bullshit. We come here for the scares, the gore, and the entertainment. Did we get that with this movie? Kinda, like, sort of, or something. First off, the scares, I could just compare it to a PG-13 movie released in January. Like, it's just filled with a bunch of jump scare bullshit for the most part. And the gore and the practical effects are actually really top-notch. When you see it, it's probably like 10% of this movie. I'm not even gonna lie. Because most of the unaliving scenes aren't done in quick succession. They're done off screen. Or the screen is just so fucking dark and black that you can't see shit of what's going on. So as a die-hard horror fan, I was a little bit upset knowing those aspects of the movie was pretty lackluster. But the one thing I can credit this movie for is being absolutely entertaining. I was not bored from start to finish. Like, this was a very fun bad time for me. I can easily compare it to the horror movie that came out last year called Tarot, where it is just such a cheesy, fun, dumb, like shit movie overall. Every aspect of it is terrible, but it's like a fun, bad, entertaining movie. But like, I'll never watch it again. So if you guys have like an hour and 40 minutes to kill on a Saturday, then I would maybe recommend it if you just want like a fun movie to go with your friends and just make fun of, because that's what you're going to get with this one.